people don't like following up. And then when you follow up, you have this idea that you're kind of annoying. My goal now is to not burn any bridges. I am a person that wears my emotions on my face. And it's really hard for me to control for some reason.
Winnie, this is all very biased from me, but you're definitely the hardest working person, so.
Welcome to Mistakes Were Made. So in this podcast, we're going to talk about mistakes that were made and then kind of just unpacking everything and how I've managed the situation. For those of you who don't know, I'm a content creator and I have been doing it for the past 8 years, I think, already at this point. One thing about content creation is that it's so new that a lot of the things are still being incorporated or solidified. So nothing is very formal. Everyone's navigating through this content creation field of work.
Sure.
Back then, maybe 10 years ago, a lot of people weren't really earning. People just posted. And then now people do this for a living and actually earn from it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I had to navigate through is also setting up a payment structure and also working through creating a formal structure of receiving payment or compensation for things.
Yeah, dealing with different clients throughout the years, the different kinds of personalities you encounter, right?
One of the most exciting things about being a content creator is actually receiving a project that's really big. I remember when someone who was representing was messaging me and they're like, hey, we have an event next week. We want you to be part of the event. So I gave them my rates and they're like, okay, let's go do it. Now, because I was so excited, I was just yeah, I'm going to go through it. I accept. There was no formal written contract that said, you are doing this project. You are getting paid X amount. You are going to be paid in X amount of days.
Right.
So none of that was set in stone. Only verbal agreements hey, I'm going to be going to this event. And I remember it was one of the big releases and I went to the event. I invited a couple of people and then I get to post a YouTube video about it and then I get to get paid. Fast forward to when the event comes, I was waiting. I invited Powie. We were at this place and the guy was like, hey, welcome to the event. The person who organized and invited me was like, hey, welcome. And I said, oh yeah, cool. Let me know what I'm gonna do. So I was anticipating for the hour of when I'm going to be called to do this thing.
Right.
And then later, an hour later, I go ask the lady, hey, am I going to participate? Because I see all the people that were participating already start prepping to go into these escape rooms. And they're like, oh, I think there's a misunderstanding. You're not actually part of it.
Okay.
And I remember feeling humiliated because I was so excited about it.
Yeah, you were under the impression that you were going to partake in these events.
Yeah.
But instead,
I was just there to film a YouTube video.
You were just there for content creation. Yeah.
Which is fine.
That's fine, but it was a misunderstanding.
The misunderstanding was that I was going to be
it set you up for disappointment because they're under the impression that you're going to do more, which is fine. It's just the way they kind of set you up.
Yeah, they hyped me up for it.
Yeah.
And then I guess there was also no formal contract that described anything. So
so everything would have been fine. It's just that
nothing
was miscommunicated.
Yeah, there was miscommunication. I didn't clarify. I was just excited. I was
You're excited
I'm going to this
which
event.
Is understandable. It was kind of early on, right? And you're excited to get a project with a big name.
So I get disappointed and then we move forward and I'm oh, okay, I filmed the content. My content gets approved, it gets posted, and later on, this guy, I start following up for payment. And this is one of the biggest issues in the Philippines. Following up for payment and also the culture surrounding it is that people don't like following up. And then when you follow up, you have this idea that you're kind of annoying. You're persistent about certain things. So people think that you're annoying. But sometimes you need to follow up to make sure that people are reminded. Otherwise, it's just going to be delayed. I mean,
this is important. It's your talent fee.
Yeah. 6 months later, I don't hear back.
It's been silent, right?
He told me that I was going to get paid on that day.
Right.
And he said, oh, I'll pay you tomorrow. I'll pay you next day. And then now, we're still processing the fee. And for me, I was like, oh, shoot. I've already made a mistake on my end.
Because there's nothing here. You have nothing to fall back on here.
Yeah, there's nothing. I can't even be mad. I can't even be hey, you promised. It was a verbal agreement. So anything, first things first is that anytime you get into any sort of thing, if you're excited about, you need to have some sort of written,
something tangible, something you can look at and show someone
like email.
physically.
Yeah.
Email chain, written paper.
Yeah, to
Something
prove
like
it.
that. Even messages on your phone, something you can trace back to.
I only had like a very basic like back and forth text from him. And I remember it was already 6 months into the late payment. And I called him at school because I work at a school. And I said, hey, what's happening? He's like, oh, hey, long story short, like, we're going to change your contract. Maybe we can offer you like a 3-time deal. Basically, the way he packaged it was that we don't pay you now, but we'll give you a package. Like, we'll give you an incentive. If you do like 3 postings with us, guaranteed postings, will pay you more.
Yeah.
So he was kind of wrapping it into like a package. And to me, that was kind of already suspicious because it seems like...
Well, what was originally agreed upon is being completely changed now, post-event.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is just,
It was just weird in general.
Incorrect,
it also seems like he kind of didn't get it approved.
Mm.
But that's just my own theory and assumption. I'm a very persistent person, and I remember calling the agency and I was like, hey, this is what's happening. I want to clarify it with you. So I remember going to the agency and the guy looked at me and he was so upset at me. Like, he looked like he wanted to murder me.
Right.
And then I remember talking to his boss and being like, hey, here's what happened. She's like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, we'll pay you, but we need 30 days to process it.
Sure.
And pretty much she said, like, she didn't know that this was going on. So basically, he agreed on something, like, rushed. And then because he didn't have anything to fall back on, he wanted to do this package deal, which is basically, like, my assumptions were kind of correct.
So there are miscommunication on 2 levels here. It was between you and your contact, and the contact and their boss. Yeah. They also had a miscommunication.
Yeah. I think he overspent. And he was just so upset about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Because I kind of like tattletaled on him.
Okay. I see.
Let's do a little icebreaker.
Oh, an icebreaker.
Yeah.
Now. Okay. Break the ice.
Not icebreaker, a little... intermission.
Ooh, intermission. Yeah, because we have no ad breaks.
Yeah, no one wants to pay us. Which character appeared in which movie?
Okay. Go for it.
Shrek. When did he appear? 1, 2, or 3?
Oh, Shrek. He didn't appear in 1. It was called Shrek, but he wasn't in 1. It's weird, right? He came out in 2. It was funny.
Okay, no.
He came out in 1. Shrek came out in Shrek 1. Win.
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots in Shrek 2.
Fiona's parents, King Harold and Queen Lillian.
Oh, Shrek 1.
2.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. No. It's my bad.
Wrong.
My bad.
Donkey.
Okay. Shrek 1.
Okay. Lord Farquaad.
Shrek 1. Winnie's inspiration for her late
Shrek's
teenage
babies?
years. Shrek's babies. Shrek 3.
Prince Charming.
Oh man, Shrek 1.
What?
Oh, really? He was Shrek 2? Damn.
Lord Farquaad's Shrek 1.
Yeah, I know, but I thought Charming was still there for some reason. Okay, sorry. My bad.
When does Fairy Godmother appear?
1. 2. 2.
What?
She's the bad in 2.
1?
She's bad in 2.
Really?
She's the baddie in 2.
So much for liking Shrek.
Wow.
How about Rumpelstiltskin?
3.
Shrek Forever After.
4. Oh, wow.
Arthur Pendragon.
4?
3. Ugly Sister. Stepsister.
2.
Yeah. Gingerbread Man.
2. 1.
Gingerbread Man is in 1, right?
1.
Yeah.
You have the answers.
Evil version of Shrek.
4?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Nice. There you go.
Excellent.
I don't know how many you got right, but okay.
Anyways. Now
fun little quiz.
I wasn't expecting that quiz.
The mistake for me was that there was no physical contract or any like written agreement that was a bit more formal.
Correct.
I just basically printed out my chat with him and showed it to the boss.
Right.
And also just told her about like the conversations we had on the phone. The thing was, he liked to have phone conversations, and phone conversations are always dangerous because like
it's not recorded.
It's not recorded.
You can't just record a phone conversation. At least I don't know how it is here in the Philippines, but that's something you can't just do without consent.
Yeah.
You need to have consent from both parties that you're like recording a phone call.
The second thing was, at the beginning, I was afraid to follow up because it was such a big company that I wanted to have a stronger relationship.
Yeah, no, I get it. You're excited. It's exciting.
And the thing was, I never followed up, and I let it linger for like 6 months, and then...
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, and even longer, actually, because I think I got paid like at the 8th month. I remember like just being so upset about that whole thing because like it was just a whole ordeal with this dude that like just didn't want to pay out. I need to make sure that I set my own set of guidelines and structure, because right now, whenever I receive like inquiries, I have a rate card. I also have payment structures that I would like or appreciate to be followed. And then I also make sure that there's a contract in place. Yeah.
So if you're to look back on this, which you are, and you're going to take the knowledge you have now, what would you have done differently?
Yeah. In this example, after the phone conversation I have with him.
Yeah. So they approach you with the deal.
I would send an email saying, thanks for approaching me. These are the deliverables I'm expected to do. And this is the amount I am expected to be paid.
Right.
And I would draft my own contract and kind of get them to sign it so that it's
Who's them to sign it though? You need
agency.
So you need the agency, not just the liaison or...
The liaison can sign
it
because he is in charge of the project.
And now you have this contract that you've written up to fall back on in case you have this problem.
Yes. Right. And also, one thing is that you need to be registered with taxes and stuff. So I have all of that prepared. So I have my BAR 2307 and then I have my business certificate and all of that.
Did you have this all prepared back then?
Yeah, I had.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But the problem was that like I never signed anything.
Right. I know. You were blinded by the lights.
Yeah.
You were excited.
I was excited.
Yeah. Fair.
So I really said, now I have to create a structure. And one thing that I always do is I provide options. Whenever you give one person option, they can always say no to it. But when you give people like more than one option, they're more likely to choose from it. For example, a payout structure like, hey, I would like to be paid in 30 days. Or you can give me 50% after I sign the contract and then the 50% 30 days after I finish the deliverables. But I'm going to hold out on insights. So I also want to hold out on some things. Like, for example, if he hasn't paid me on that day, I wouldn't post the video until they paid me. And you're like, but wait, does that mean that like they can always not ask you to post anymore? Okay. And I said, yeah, but that's the thing with like 50% beforehand and then after. So you would separate it. So before I go and attend an event, I need to make sure that they actually solidify that. But sometimes it's a little bit of kind of gut and trust. There are some times where it's not going to go according to the payout structure that they envisioned.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure that's very common.
It's very
Even
common.
Till now.
Yeah, until now, I still deal with that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the thing is, I have to let it go. Like, I have to understand that I can't force a project to happen. So I'm not going to like insist on them moving forward the contract, following up. The only time I will ever follow up is if we've signed a contract and if they agreed to pay me. I'll follow up on the daily. And there's nothing wrong with following up. Follow up, no shame. Follow up as much as you want to. In the past 3 years, I feel like I've really got a good structure going on.
I think you have. You're very stern now. I think you're like you said, you're not afraid to not let a project go through just because you don't agree with their standards or the deliverables they want. It's too excessive. You're totally fine already just saying no.
My goal now is to not burn any bridges.
Okay, nice goal.
Yeah. I am a person that wears my emotions on my face. And it's really hard for me to control for some reason.
It's okay, it's fine.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like, people can tell if I'm disgusted, I don't like them, and I try my best to like try to not burn bridges and just be peaceful.
Wenny, this is all very biased from me, but you're definitely the hardest working person, so it shows. I mean, you can't have that kind of attitude and be liked by everyone, as you said, and not be such a boss lady.
Thank you very much. Wow, we're just complimenting each other.
Well, I mean, who else is watching? When we're gonna do? You're gonna watch. It's gonna be us. It's gonna be us watching this down the road.
Okay. Yeah, Kim's gonna have fun editing this.
Oh, thanks, Kim.
Conclusion.
Mm-hmm. So what are we concluding here? Lessons learned?
Yeah, the lessons learned. Key points that I want to highlight is that things will definitely not go your way, which is something that I have learned the hard lesson on. And it's like you hear it from everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, things don't go your way. I'm like, but I'm going to make it my way.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have the mentality to just keep it in mind that things may not go your way. You don't have to be so pessimistic about it and just expect things to never go your way.
Yeah.
But you should always keep it in mind so that you're not, like surprised that something didn't go your way.
One thing that I want to do is to ride the wave. Is that when
what do you mean by
it's
that?
just like going down the stink hole, you just go through it. Like
so ride it through, like ride out the storm.
Yeah, see it through.
Okay.
And that's the lesson, like one of the main lessons for me for this is that like payouts that don't happen, I wanted to see it through because I wanted to know how I was going to deal with it the next time it happened.
I see. So you didn't choose to just give up and not get paid.
Yeah, I didn't want to be like
ride out the storm and see it through the end because you need to see it through.
Yeah. Even if I burned the bridge at that time, because that guy probably hates me so much. But like for me, it was so important to see how I was going to get paid. Like, and how was I going to deal with like people that had a grasp on my career, like the way they dangled like opportunities and be like,
and flashy words. What did they call that? The engaging words, or like they throw out like, when they talk to you about projects.
Like,
I forgot what that term
potential.
Is. It's like they throw out like these flashy words that get you excited.
Yeah, they're like collaborate further. I think I'm talking about this particularly because I've had failed payment moments, but this one really told me that like I know my worth and I'm not gonna just like easily fall for I'm relying on you for my opportunities. I want to create my own opportunities.
That's good.
And I think for me, like that's when I stopped being like, I want to wait for PR. I want to wait for this.
Right.
I look at what I have and what exists in my realm and my sphere, and I use that to share information with others.
That's good. And you're still learning today also.
I am still learning.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but I think I have a pretty good structure going on.
Yeah, lots of room to grow,
Yeah. So that's it. That's mistakes were made.
Anyways, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias.